Welcome to the First Waves for Employees podcast. This podcast is for you, someone who's ready to take charge of your career development and strive for continuous improvement every day. If you're looking to bring more value to your company, invest in your personal growth, and build a successful corporate career, then you are in the right place. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Wave Business Excellence Footprint, an environmentally friendly online training company committed to supporting your personal and professional journey. Today, I'm here to share a 7-step approach to finding a project with your manager. When it comes to Lean Six Sigma or business excellence, project selection is key. Depending on your company's maturity level in these practices, there are many ways to find and select a project. The approach we are covering today in this episode is simple and effective. This is the one that I've been using with employees like you who are preparing to enter a Lean Six Sigma training. Before starting the training, you will work with your manager to identify a real project. This project will allow you to take what you have learned in the course and apply it to a real project, optimizing processes with the tools you've gained. With support from a coach, you will lead the project from start to finish, delivering measurable results. This approach is designed to be a win-win-win situation. You will earn a globally recognized certification, boost your market value, and gain hands-on experience while your company benefits from the results of your work. In most cases, your project results covers the cost of training and certification. This is a fantastic return on investment for your manager who is sponsoring this training. So let's get started. Today I will guide you through the 7-step approach to finding your project and set you up for success. Okay, let's start with step number 1 from our 7 steps. The first step is called schedule our meeting. Many times we say we need to do things and there are so many actions that need to be accomplished, but at the end of the day, we do not set it up in our calendars. And if it's not set up in our calendars, it's almost not going to happen. So therefore, we always recommend to our trainees, please schedule a meeting with your manager so that you can discuss about this topic. And it's going to be specifically for project identification so that your manager can get prepared and you can also prepare your thoughts for this meeting. It is always good to create that space and time in order to speak about specific topics. And therefore, this meeting with your manager will be specifically for project identification. Step 2 is called alignment of ideas. This is the point where you will do a little bit of pre-work. You will identify what is the company's strategy, what are the things that we are now focusing on in your company, so that you can somehow think, how will my projects have a direct correlation and a benefit to that strategy that my company has at the moment? So this is one of the things that you can start writing down as a preparation for your meeting with your manager. Once you sit together with your manager, you can review the things that you have identified through the intranet of your company to say, look, these are the things that I have been observing that our company strategy is focusing on, and these could be the projects that I think could link well to these strategies. On the other side, it's interesting to see what type of ideas will come from your manager, who's going to be at the end of the day the sponsor of that project. So as your manager also has specific goals and targets for year ends for your team, then it is very interesting to see what are those targets and how can we align then these project ideas that we have with those targets. Perhaps there are certain projects that we did not think about initially, and we are coming up with these ideas while we are speaking about the strategy of the company, we're speaking about the strategy of the team that you are in, and also what are the goals of your manager. And this is a very nice situation where your manager can then link the achievement of their goals with the company goals and linked with your goals. So therefore, there is a nice connection and correlation between all of these. By having this correlation, it's going to also improve the sponsorship of your project. Because if your manager does not feel that this project is going to bring too much benefit to his achievement of goals or to the advancement of the development of your team, then there's not going to be that strong of a sponsorship. So what's important, once we find that strong correlation, there will be also a strong correlation of the sponsorship coming from your manager. Your manager will then make sure that your project will be on time. They will make sure that you have everything that you need in order to execute your project. They will make sure that the subject matter experts will be helping you throughout your project's lifespan. And that's why it's so important to have that alignment with management goals, which are then, of course, aligned to the company goals and strategy. Step number 3 will be to identify further projects, and this is done using a FACT model. FACT, which is written as FACT. Each one of these letters represent a specific KPI that we can identify for every single key process that we have in our team. So therefore, the first thing that we need to do is to list the key outcomes delivered by our team. What is it that our team is producing? Are they producing a product? Are they producing a service? Are they producing a specific internal or external service for our customers? Who are the customers? So once we know what are the main outcomes that our team is producing with their time and capacity, then we should have at the end a list of those key processes. Now that we have the list of those 4 to 8 key processes for our team, we can identify the F from our FACT model, which stands for fulfillment, to see how good are we in the fulfillment of that service. Do we have any backlogs? Are we missing anything? Are we not able to comply with the volumes that are coming in from all the things that we need to fulfill as a team? So therefore, you can come up with a nice KPI at the end of this list that you have to see where do we have issues with fulfillment. The next thing we need to review from all of those key processes that that team is working on is the letter A in our FACT model, which stands for accuracy. So not only are they fulfilling the volumes that are coming in from the products and services that they are delivering, but also how accurately are they able to fulfill that service and products? Is it done properly? Is it done in a way that we do not have any rework loops, that everything is free from any type of defects, so that the one who's receiving the outcome of this process and the outcome of that service from that team do not have anything to complain about because everything is done properly. So if you think that there are any points from those 4 to 8 key processes from your team that have an issue with accuracy and has a room for improvement, then perhaps this could be a nice place to set a project. Next comes the letter C, which stands for cycle time. And here is where we think about again our key processes that we have in our team, which are those 4 to 8 main processes that have an issue with cycle time. Where are we exceeding the time that we should not have exceeded? Where do we have potential to reduce workloads, where we have potential to reduce the capacity that we are investing in those processes? Perhaps because there are too many ping pong games going back and forth, too many emails back and forth, too many rework loops, a lot of waste is being produced in the process that is extending our cycle time. So all of that is issues that can be removed through a project by improving the cycle time of those key processes that we have. So in case you find that there are any of these key processes that have an issue with cycle time, then just write them down. Here you will have then further project ideas. And now comes the last letter, which is letter T, which stands for treatment. So how did the internal and external customer feel in this process? What is the satisfaction rate of the persons benefiting from this outcome? In most cases, you can do a survey to find out how satisfied are they with the total customer experience of those key processes that our team is working on. So now we have gone through all of the letters from the FACT model, and you have scanned through all of your key processes in your department, linked with the F for fulfillment, A for accuracy, C for cycle time, T for treatment, and you have written down many points where we could have some type of improvement. And this improvement will be linked to a specific project. So each one of them, either it's for fulfillment for a specific key process or accuracy for a specific process, will have their own individual project, because each project will be focusing on reducing one type of defect. Please do not mix too many defects in one project, because then your scope will be too large and you'll be trying to combat too many things at the same time. It's much better to have a smaller scope and a laser sharp focus on what is it that we want to improve. And another thing is our data that we need in order to improve a specific process. There's a different type of data needed if you are working on a project that is focusing on accuracy than when you're focusing on cycle time. Because on cycle time, you are reducing time, and in accuracy, you're reducing number of defects. So therefore, these are two different types of data, and therefore we can also have two different types of projects. Okay, to summarize step number 3, which is going through your key processes with the fact model, you have now identified even further ideas. So if we now look back retrospectively, you have spoken to your manager about the strategy of the company, the strategy of the department, his or her goals, what they need to achieve at the end of the year, and the goals of the team. And now you've been also looking at the fact model. So you have many ideas coming from different directions. And now we're going to dive into step number 4, which is to further brainstorm. The key question that you're going to ask your manager during this short brainstorming session is, what process improvement projects do you see? And here we give each other just a couple of minutes to write down a couple of post-its or to just write down the ideas on our notebook and then discuss these, because maybe there will be further points besides the ones that came out of the fact model and besides the one that came out of that strategy correlation thoughts that we had at the beginning. So maybe there's something else that we haven't yet covered that we know that is in our pipeline, something that has been in our parking lot perhaps since a while now, and we would like to finally address that point. Perhaps even issues that have been known by the team for some time now, but nobody has dared to address it. So maybe this would be further ideas that will come out throughout this brainstorming session. And now we come to step number 5, which is to select the projects that fit into the Lean Six Sigma characteristics. So all of the ideas you have gathered in the previous steps, like for example, the strategy ideas, then you have the ideas coming from the fact model, then you have the ideas coming from the brainstorming session that you did in step 4, and now you're going to be putting them all together into this context of finding out if they fulfill specific primary characteristics and secondary characteristics. Let's review the primary ones. The first question, is this an existing process? So that means anytime you are going to get certified as a yellow belt, green belt, black belt, you always have to improve an existing process. And this is one of the things that is very important, especially the word process. Because sometimes if one says, well, I would like to reduce costs, but reducing cost is not a process. We need to figure out which process is causing us too many costs in the company. Then we optimize that process, and as a side effect, we are reducing our cost. Therefore, the question here is this an existing process, and is it even a process? The second primary question we should ask is, do we have unhappy employees or customers with this process, either during the process or the outcome of the process? So either or. If there's a dissatisfaction with that, then we definitely have a good potential project. Another question I ask in the primary characteristic is it a repetitive process where data can be easily collected when needed? It is not so easy to do a Lean Six Sigma project if you have a process that it's only being touched 2 to 3 times a year, maybe even 4 times a year. This one is more challenging because we need to collect lots of data to make data-based decisions. And to do our analyze phase, we need to have a lot of data. So therefore, let's focus on those project ideas that are very repetitive, those processes that we know that we are doing every single day, that many employees are touching every single day. And if we need data, we can collect data much faster. The next question I will ask for the primary characteristic is this project important to the sponsor and it is aligned to the company goals? Yes or no? We could even set 2 barometers. How important is this for my sponsor from 0 to 10? And how well aligned is this project with our company goals from 0 to 10? Then we can see where we stand. The second last characteristic that I look at is there already a predefined solution to our problem? If there's already a solution, then we do not have to go through a Lean Six Sigma project. But if there is a no known solution yet, then that's fantastic. Then it fits pretty well to Lean Six Sigma because we will then start identifying the root causes of that problem. And from the root cause, we will then dive into solutions. But if a predefined solution is already existing, then we do not have to go through the Lean Six Sigma process. We just have to do the classical project management and execute on those solutions, create the action plan, and have them executed. And the final question that we should look at for the primary characteristic is, can the project be completed within a 4 to 6 month time frame? If it takes longer than that, then perhaps it's too large of a project for a Lean Six Sigma methodology. And if it's too short, then maybe it's a just do it type of initiative. So therefore, anywhere between 4 to 6 month time frame is ideal. And now we come to the secondary characteristics. The questions that I will ask here is there variation in the process outputs? Yes or no? Are the process outputs slow? Do we want to have them faster? I will also be asking, does the process include many non-value added steps? So things that people would have to do in the team that did not really bring that much value to the process because we are just redoing certain work, we are just throwing emails back and forth between our colleagues, we are having unnecessary meetings and all the things that just bring a lot of waste to our end-to-end process. Then comes the question of, do we have quality issues? Are the roles and responsibilities unclear? Are the processes unsynchronized? Is there a need to establish a control element to ensure the solution works properly? All of these questions are the things that we should ask when we are focusing on the secondary characteristics. Okay, so now let's sum it all up. To ensure that you have the right Lean Six Sigma project, you should make sure that all of the topics we have discussed under primary characteristics fit to your projects that you have listed in your pipeline. And now, this brings us to step number 6, which is to prioritize. Now you have all of those projects that you have selected that will fit to that grid that I just spoke about, and we want to know where do they fit in our impact and effort matrix. This matrix you can see much easier in the template that I can provide to you. Please feel free to contact my team under contact@wave-bef.com to get these templates. Here you will see that the horizontal line of this matrix is called complexity and size of scope, also known as effort. When it's a high effort, you will be more on the left side of this horizontal line, and if you have a low effort, you will be more on the right side of this horizontal line. Then on the vertical line of this matrix, it will be impact. High impact will be all the way on the top, low impact will be all the way on the bottom. And then inside of this matrix, we have a grid which represents 4 main boxes of our matrix. The upper right-hand box is the one that has the lower complexity and lower effort with the highest impact. These are great yellow belt projects, and these are magnificent because you do not have to spend too much time in the project and you will have already great benefits out of them. Then you have the other box, which is on the upper left-hand side, which is a high impact and also a high complexity and a high effort. This would be more fitting to a green belt project because a green belt project is more complex than a yellow belt one, and you can use more tools and you can also spend more time doing that project. You will also do more analysis. So this is where the complexity is higher and the impact is also high. Then you could either do the green belt project, or if the complexity is even higher, then it would be a black belt project because a black belt project would use even more tools and will take a longer time to complete. Now, what happens if we have something that lands on the lower right-hand side of our matrix? This is where we have the situation that the impact is lower, but the complexity is not very high. So the effort is low as well. In this case, we could say, well, let's take that as a second or third priority type of projects. These could be also fitting pretty well to a yellow belt project because They are not very large in scope, they are low in effort to execute as a project, and it will bring some type of impact. Not as much, but still some impact is to be seen. And the last quadrant that we have is the lower left-hand side, which means that we have a low impact and a high complexity and a big scope and big efforts. In this case, we will not select it as a project because we do not want to put so much resources and capacity on something that will not bring that much of a benefit to the company. And herewith, we come to our final step, step number 7, which is to fill out the project charter templates. Each company have their own templates that are being used for projects. Please make sure that you have the updated version from your company. And in case you do not have one and you would like to use one that is a downloadable version, then you could find that under our tool vault in our website, or you could also send an email to my team. This project charter is very important because it is the basis of your project. It's going to identify what's the main problem that we have, what is the main goals we would like to achieve, what is the business strategy, what is the business case, what is the sigma value that we have, the defect rate, who are the participants, how long it's going to take in the project, what's the timeline, all of that stuff is going to be in your project charter template. And that's why this one is extremely important because it's already forming your project. That's the point where you can already identify when is it going to be the start point and end point of this project, who is going to be the sponsor, who's going to be the project leader, and when are we going to begin. The outcome of this step number 7 is to have all of that information that you've gathered into your individual project charters. So you will have all of your top prioritized projects in project charters. You will then share them with your Lean Six Sigma coach as well as with your manager and project sponsor in order to find out which are the ones that we're going to tackle first, or perhaps which are the projects that will be given to which person of the team who will also participate in a Lean Six Sigma training. And this summarizes the 7-step approach before you start with your Lean Six Sigma training. It is very important that you have a project charter already confirmed by your sponsor, that you have it already acknowledged and approved before you enter to a Lean Six Sigma training, because it's going to be like a driving school where you will learn all the tools and the rules of the game, and then you would have to apply it into the real life. So if you are in the driving school, you are learning all the theory, and then you have to somehow apply that to the practice. You will notice that the practice is totally different to the way you had it in the course. And therefore, you should always have a coach who's going to guide you through this project documentation and also project certification so that you can get the best results required for the company and also for your fulfillment of requirements. Wish you all lots of success in your upcoming project identification process. I hope you took some learning nuggets and will use some of the steps from this episode for your next project selection. If you would like to receive the simple step-by-step templates, please send an email to my team at contact@wave-bef.com. Please look at the online courses offered by Wave Business Excellence Footprint, where you will find the top Lean certification and Six Sigma certifications that are directly linked to an increase of your market value and a financial benefit for your manager, because during your certification, you will be solving real business issues that will be bringing the business measurable results. Please rate, subscribe, send in your comments and share with those who you think could profit from this episode. It's very much appreciated and I'm grateful for your messages. This podcast is sponsored by Wave Business Excellence Footprint, where we believe that investing in yourself is the best investment you can make. On the website www.wave-bef.com, you will find courses that are designed for managers and for employees who strive to become better every day. If you do not have a Lean Six Sigma certification, then you will find an outstanding certification program with Wave. In case you already have a certification, then we have other courses that will further enhance your skills. On the Wave website, look under the tab called Courses for Employees to see what course resonates with you. All these courses are designed to take you to the next career development level. Thank you, stay tuned, and see you in the next episode of First Waves for Employees. Take care, everyone.